I'm Vinny Politan. Great to have you with us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And you know, I've been with Court TV for a while, right? I've covered a lot of trials through the years. And I want to focus off the top here on celebrities. When celebrities end up in court, when celebrities end up in legal trouble. You know, when I first started years ago and early on, celebrities seem to always come out of things pretty clean, right? Well, everyone remembers O.J. Simpson, Robert Blake, Michael Jackson. Jason Williams was standing in a room. He was a basketball player and like shot and killed his limo driver. Said it was an accident. The jury was hung on half of the counts in that case. So I saw it time after time after time earlier in my Court TV career that celebrities did very, very well inside the courtroom. And I always wondered why. Why is it? Why do they give them the benefit of the doubt? Well, maybe they kind of like them, or they're used to the attention, they're used to the focus, and they just come off better inside a courtroom, whether or not they testify or don't testify. And maybe you're more likely to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's just the money that they have to get the great legal representation and the great investigation of their own case, and maybe battle prosecutors on a more even playing field. I never really could pinpoint exactly what it was, but it was real. It was real that celebrities did well. More recently, I feel like the tide is turning a little bit. Like it's not necessarily a plus anymore to be a celebrity when you've got legal issues, legal trouble. That there's more of an atmosphere these days of holding people accountable, especially people who are powerful, people who are rich, people who are famous. And I think there's a lot more of that now. So now let's turn to the first celebrity case of the night, which is Alec Baldwin. And it's unrefuted that Alec Baldwin shot and killed Halyna Hutchins, the cinematographer from the movie that he was an executive producer of and a movie that he was the absolute star of. The gun was in his hand, the gun went off, and it killed Halyna Hutchins. So in this case, I thought initially that, it would be an easy investigation. We'd kind of figure out what happened. There were so many people there, but it's anything but simple at this point. The criminal investigation is still going on, and we're trying to uncover what happened. And there now is a parallel civil litigation that is taking place. And the big difference between civil litigation and criminal investigation is that the civil stuff, everyone's kind of playing their cards out in public, right? Making their allegations and kind of laying out what they believe happened. And unbelievably, in this case, there is a serious discrepancy between the versions of what happened when Alec Baldwin shot and killed Halyna Hutchins. I want to start by showing you the digital recreation of that shooting. And this is based on the complaint filed by Halyna's family, who is suing for wrongful death. Okay, so this is the version of what happened according to the victim in the case.
Industry standards required Mr. Baldwin to be trained and qualified in safe handling and proper firing procedures before accepting the revolver. Mr. Baldwin refused weapons training on how to perform a cross draw, the type of gun draw he was about to perform in the church. The first rule for safety with firearms on a production set required Mr. Baldwin to treat all firearms as if they were loaded and refrain from pointing a firearm at anyone. The industry standard required Mr. Baldwin to remember that any person or object at which he points a firearm could be destroyed.
All right, I watched that and I listened to the narration, which outlines, again, the case of Halyna's family, who has filed suit against Alec Baldwin and others in this case. So that's their version of what happened. Now, there was a filing done by Alec Baldwin, not a video recreation, but a filing in court outlining his version of what happened there. Let me read it to you because it's somewhat different. Baldwin was sitting in a church pew looking at Hutchins. Baldwin held the gun, which Halls had just announced was safe, in his hand. Hutchins was standing camera right, Baldwin's left, next to the camera operator, and looking back and forth between Baldwin to her right and the camera operator's monitor to her left. Baldwin asked Hutchins what she would like to see to prepare her camera angle for the scene. Baldwin did not perform a, quote, cross draw of the gun. He pulled the gun out slowly without issue and held it still before Hutchins began giving any directions to him. She directed Baldwin to hold the gun higher to a point where it was directed toward her. She was looking carefully at the monitor and then Baldwin and then back again as she gave these instructions. Baldwin asked Hutchins whether she wanted to see him cock the gun as the script required. She responded yes. Baldwin tipped the gun down somewhat so that the lens of the camera would be able to focus on his hand's action on the top of the gun. Baldwin then pulled back the hammer, but not far enough to actually cock the gun. When Baldwin let go of the hammer, the gun went off. As later became known, a live bullet discharged from the gun and struck Hutchins, traveling through her body and striking Souza in the shoulder. Both Hutchins and Souza fell to the ground. That's different than that video recreation. So what I want to do tonight is evaluate both scenarios here and not through the lens, no pun intended, but not through the lens of, is there civil liability? I don't want to debate the lawsuit. I want to debate criminal liability in this case against Alec Baldwin. I don't want to talk about the armorer. I don't want to talk to the person who supplied the dummy rounds or the live rounds. That's a discussion for another night. Right now, I'm focusing on Alec Baldwin's potential criminal liability as we look at events through the eyes of the victim and then through the eyes of Alec Baldwin. Got to bring in the think tank to do this, though. Joining us tonight in New York City, former senior homicide prosecutor Bernardo Villalona. In Los Angeles, California, Deputy Public Defender for Los Angeles County, Philip Dubé. And in San Diego, California, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor Brian Watkins. And of course, as always, you can contact Brian Watkins at brianwatkinslaw.com. Great to see everyone on this Friday night. Let's begin with that video recreation, Bernardo Villalona. As we watch that, did you see a crime taking place?
I didn't see a crime taking place by watching that video recreation. Let's just be clear, it would be difficult to even get that into evidence at a trial.
No, not that you're getting it into evidence. In a civil case, you'll be able to get that in. You might even be able to get it in a criminal case. I've seen it done in criminal cases down in North Carolina. I saw it happen. But here's my question. Based upon what they are saying happened here, is that a crime?
I don't see it as a crime. I don't see criminal negligence or criminal recklessness at this point. I want to see what were in his text messages, what was recovered from his phone, to see what words were used prior and after by Alec Baldwin.
All right, Philip Dubé, you're out there in Hollywood. This case won't be in Hollywood, but it's a Hollywood type of case. Do you see criminal liability based upon that video recreation and what they're saying, which is, yeah, I refused the cross-draw training, refused to do it, and this is what happened?
No. You cannot impute an industry standard to his scienter or his knowledge as to whether or not he even had a firearm, let alone a loaded one. If he truly did not know that he had a loaded gun, then it doesn't really matter what he did with it. Do you see? You know, typically.
Can I ask you something, Philip? Can I ask you something along those lines?
Sure.
If Brian Watkins came up to your office and handed you a gun and said it's not loaded, and you took his word for it, you took the gun and you squeezed the trigger while you were pointing it at someone and they died, you would be clear because Brian Watkins told you that it wasn't loaded?
No, because you would not expect that type of instrumentality in a law office where I work. But when you're on a movie set doing a, you know, a country western.
Okay, let me give you one
drama.
more, Philip. I just want to give you one more. Let's say we're at the precinct, okay? Bunch of cops, all trained in firearms. One of my fellow cops hands me a gun, says, oh, yeah, it's not loaded. I point it at one of my fellow officers, squeeze the trigger, and shoot and kill him. We're at work. We're at work, just like Alec Baldwin's at work. The person that handed me gun is trained in firearms, just like the armorer. Is that police officer free and clear of any criminal responsibility?
No, that could be absolutely an implied malice intentional homicide, meaning there was no express intent to kill, but the act is so reckless in that scenario, you have to assume that that gun's going to be loaded. You start pointing it at people and pulling a trigger. If it goes off, I mean, that's called murder, frankly. That is the old abandoned heart, you know, the malignant heart.
But he told me it wasn't loaded.
Well, that's a different situation. Again, it goes to his scienter. If he truly believed at the time, and if it was reasonable, that that gun was not loaded and all he's doing is just toying around with it, it could have been a prop for all he knew. Remember, they're not playing Russian roulette where they're told ahead of time, you know what, there is a live round and you're, rolling the dice when you pull that trigger. So therefore, you assume the risk that by toying with it, it could go off. But on this fact pattern, I don't see it. And frankly, not to skirt the issue, I'm not even sure that the civil suit has viability.
We're not going to go there yet. We're not going to go there yet. We'll get there at some point. Let me ask you, Brian Watkins, do you agree with Bernarda? Do you agree with Philip? They have cleared Alec Baldwin.
Yes, I got to agree with them. You know, what the video does not show is what's going on in Alec Baldwin's mind. What did he know? What was his intent? And so the fact that he's on a movie set, and don't forget, movies aren't real, and the guns that they use in movies aren't real.
No, they're real guns. They're real guns.
They're firing blanks, so they don't have live cartridges in them. And so never, when you see a shootout in a movie, is it a real shootout with live ammunition. And so there's no reason for Alex to believe that it would be loaded with live ammunition. This is an experienced actor who is going to testify of every movie set I've ever been on and every gun I've ever held. It's never, ever had live ammunition in it. So why would I think this one had live ammunition in it? So clearly, we do not prosecute people for accidents, except the poor officer that went for a taser instead of her gun, went for a gun instead of her taser. But other than that, we do not prosecute people for negligence or accidents. So there's no criminal liability here. Clearly civil, but not criminal.
Okay. All right, let's get to based upon what Alec Baldwin is saying, because none of you believe there's any criminal responsibility, based upon what Alec Baldwin is saying, would that absolve him of all civil liability as well, Bernarda? Like,
No,
he doesn't pay
no.
a dime?
No, I doubt it. I highly doubt it, especially since he was the head boss of this movie being taped. So he's always going to be named as the #1 party because he has the deepest pockets. And also they're going to hold him responsible for everything that happens at the set because it's under his guise. However, I will say what we need Alec Baldwin to do is stop talking to the media. Those
No,
interviews
he's
are not
filing
helping
papers here.
you.
He's filing papers. He talked to the
I
media
know.
last week.
Exactly, but his interviews, all of that is going to be used against him. Shut it, cállate, no more talking.
But that
Let your
gets us
lawyers
to the
do talking
truth.
For you.
When the people being investigated speak, it gets us closer to the truth. All right, Philip Dubé, I want you to hear a statement from Halyna Hutchins' family attorney, okay, responding to Alec Baldwin's filings. Alec Baldwin, once again, is trying to avoid liability and accountability for his reckless actions before and on October 21st that resulted in the death of Halyna Hutchins, as demonstrated by today's arbitration demand for indemnification from the Rust Production Company. Baldwin's disclosure of personal texts with Matt Hutchins is irrelevant to his demand for arbitration and fails to demonstrate anything other than Hutchins' dignity in his engagement with Baldwin. It is shameful that Baldwin claims Hutchins' actions in filing a wrongful death lawsuit derailed the completion of Rust. That's the movie. The only action that ended the film's production was Baldwin's killing of Halyna Hutchins. So, Philip, your thoughts about civil liability, because you don't think there's even civil liability for Alec Baldwin.
Not for Alec Baldwin. I think that the Hutchins family's claim is preempted by workers' compensation law. And the reason why, this occurred on the set, on a production set, albeit in New Mexico. And I believe California is in accord with what's called the Delgado Doctrine. The only exception.
He's breaking out the Delgado Doctrine tonight, Brian. I can't believe this. Go ahead, continue.
No, I'm serious. Though,
I know.
There is an exception where you lose the benefit of workers' comp coverage by your carrier if the employer deliberately puts the employee in an unnecessarily dangerous situation where death or great bodily injury could occur. So again, it goes back to the scienter. If he thought he had a prop, popping up a prop without a live round in it that might have a dummy in it, that's inherent in the risks of working on a movie set when you're making a Western. So I don't believe that anybody intentionally put Miss Hutchins in a dangerous or unnecessarily dangerous situation where great bodily injury or death could occur. It's all inherent in the risks of the workplace and working on a movie set. Now, having said that, it does mean there could be liability, but on the part of the carrier that provides the workers' comp coverage. But it should not come out of Mr. Baldwin's pocket, in my opinion.
Philip Dubé on top of his game tonight. That's the bottom line to all of this. I mean, he went to a place I didn't even think we were going with the workers' comp, but that's a great argument. Unbelievable argument. All right, Brian Watkins.
I disagree with Philip, though.
You can disagree with him, but we got to move on to the next segment. When we come back, Brian Watkins, I need your reaction tonight to what happened yesterday in Chicago, Illinois. Jussie Smollett sentenced